So, in the previous video I was talking about the points, the observations I made whilst working with the scutum. But now I'm gonna elaborate a bit better the steps I took, why I took them, and what could be better done in the future. So, first of all, the scutum, according to sources I found in my book about ancient warfare, is at the sides it's 6 millimeters thick, and going inward it's more to 30 millimeters thick. So I wanted to replicate that same effect, but I didn't have enough tools at my disposal, so it's more like a centimeter at the edge and more like 50 millimeters in the middle, so it's a bit heavier than it should be. In the future I do have new equipment, so this should be easier to do. Just using a saw bench is gonna make a lot of difference, which I have now. So yeah, next up, I used canvas right here. I didn't have linen at my disposal, so I used canvas, which is also a bit cheaper, so that's a good thing. Sticking it on, this is a very important thing, because the scutum has this big wooden boss right here. They also came with a bronze plate on top or iron plate, but I just went for purely wood, and because I wanted to make the image like this, and you cannot have a big iron plate here because it will spoil the image. But sticking the canvas on, start at the top of the boss, then work your way down, fill in the gap of the edges, the cracks right here with wood glue. Stick then the linen in, let it dry, and then continue going outward like this. What I did, I went from the top and went to the bottom, and that's not the best. As you can see, some things could have been a little bit better done, and I also have some air bubbles here, but if you have air bubbles, I painted it and now you cannot see them anymore. The paint has also made it heavier and stickier, so that sticks better. If you are gonna apply wood glue, just do it very thinly and evenly, and all needs to be covered in wood glue, all of it. That's just way better, believe me. So, next up, the handle. I made a handle from a single piece of wood, and as you can see, it's a bit thin, so my handle was also a bit thin. So how did I solve it? I used a little bit of leather I had laying about, put it underneath, and then wrapped rope around it, and it looks actually quite good in my opinion, in my humble opinion, of course. So yeah, as you can see, I used wood with holes in it because it is pellet wood. I had that at my disposal, and I think it works pretty well. I think it's better than using plywood, historically speaking. So yeah, next up, the edge. This has been a bit of a problem for me, because if you can see right here, I used dog bone from rawhide, and I put a nail here and a nail here in each piece, and then put the next one on with a nail here and a nail here. And I knew rawhide, when it's wet, it's gonna expand, and if it's gonna get dry, it's gonna contract a bit. So I knew that, so I was making sure it overlapped a bit. It didn't overlap enough. It didn't. So next time I'm gonna use this method, I'm gonna make sure they overlap again and then put a nail right through both of them. So if it's gonna stretch the other way around, it's gonna get contract, then it's not gonna slide off of each other, and it will make it a little bit more tighter, so that's a good thing, because the rawhide is keeping it all together. A good thing I did was I obviously used rope. Use a drill a bit bigger than the rope, not too big of course, because it will look terrible. And what I did was I grabbed the end of the string of the rope and put it in wood glue and made a bit of an egglet out of it. So you let it dry for a while, make sure it's as tough as it can be. So if it's still white, just wait a bit. I promise you it's worth the wait. And then with that egglet, an egglet, by the way, if you have seen Phineas and Ferb, you know. So the egglet, it makes it much easier to put it in the edge and just go around and go around. Do drill just before you put in the rope, and that will make sure it doesn't get out of line. If you pre-drill everything, then eventually you'll notice it won't fit, and it will make your life a lot harder. So yeah, using the string, I didn't really bother how much was in between the strings or how long they were outside. It was more like a feeling based process. But I'm gonna make a little bit of a wooden piece I can put on the drill with a nail in the side, a hole in the middle for the drill to go through, and that hole and that nail will fit in the hole I made before. Put on the wooden block with the nail in it, in the hole that is pre-made. Put it on the edge, drill the next one. That will speed things up and make things a lot more consistent. Using the rawhide dog bones is gonna be more expensive than you think. So maybe going to the night store is a better idea. Another thing you must not do ever is what I did. I put in some nails right here to make sure the canvas stuck in here a bit better, because here's the boss is beginning here, and I thought if I put in a nail, it will stick better to the board and it will fill in the cracks a bit better. Don't do it. Or use very soft and big-headed nails, because small ones made from very tough steel, it's not a good idea. Because I believed I could smash them with a hammer and it would go flat on the other side, but no, they didn't, and all they did was change the direction they were in. So instead of laying here flat like this nail right here, they, when hammering, went this, like this. So the head was also buried in the board, if you know what I mean. And then I had to pull them out, and I had to fix the gaps I created, the damage that I've done You cannot see it right now on camera. I'm very proud of this actually. But I put on a little bit of canvas right here, a little square, put it on with wood glue and then painted it over. And not disappointed actually, looking at it on camera. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm gonna answer this non-asked question: is it better to buy a shield or make one yourself? So this one I bought, cost me around 120 euros. This one I made, and it cost me, in the sense of the materials used, not the equipment used, because I also bought some equipment. The materials used, this being pellet wood that was either case thrown away. This didn't cost anything. The rope was like 2 euros and I still have many left. The nails, they cost 14 euros, but I have an immense amount I got from that. And they're very good nails, steel nails, so you can use them in the house or whatever. The edge, as I mentioned, was 7 euros. So you can do the math. This way is a lot cheaper. You do spend more than 9 hours making it. You can do it a bit faster if you have the right equipment, but I spent approximately 9 hours building this. But I have to say, every step of the way I discovered new things. I really enjoyed making this, and I can proudly tell people I made this, I painted this, I also painted that one, but I made this, and yeah, it's just amazing. It's something you can be really proud of, and that's just priceless. So yeah, you do make one yourself. You'll never be disappointed. So that was my video. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.